What's going on, mobile gamers? Today we're going to be taking a look at the backbone, not this backbone, but this backbone for Android mobile gaming. I guess it works for iPhone too. So let's jump in and take an in-depth look at how long this thing is. So in the land of Android handheld mobile gaming, when it comes to mobile controllers, we have so many different types of controllers out there, and the backbone is one of them that has been popping up a lot lately. Inside my ad feed on Facebook, my YouTube feed, my shorts feeds, my Instagram feeds, this company has been promoting this thing like crazy, and I really don't understand why. Maybe because it's not really, in my opinion, the greatest mobile controller on the market, but it's pretty expensive. So why is it so expensive? I don't know. This controller is a USB Type-C style controller. It stretches out pretty big. It does fit probably a 7-inch tablet. It fits my 6.7-inch screen phone pretty well. But the ergonomics of this thing and the design of this thing are terrible. And I'm going to show you a lot of different things that I like to test out when it comes to any of these controllers while kind of reviewing the backbone. Now I have the Razer Kishi V2. This isn't the V2 Pro, it's just the V2. And when I first got this thing, I wasn't a huge fan of it, and I'm still not the biggest fan of it. But it feels less cheap and less like it's going to fall apart when I stretch this out than the backbone does. Like, you can go like this and it's got a little bit of play right here. And when you got it stretched right out, I feel like if I twist this too much, that's going to snap and break. Where the Razer Kishi, it feels like it's a solid plastic. Yes, it does twist a little bit, but it's pretty solid in there. Now, of course, if you're going to really crank on it, you are going to break it. Now, they both look very much similar side by side like this. This one, I feel like the joystick on this side is a little bit higher up than it should be where the D-pad is, where your fingers are going up and down like this. That being said, I can already feel by the way that this D-pad is sitting that there's going to be some travel issues when it comes to games that need the D-pad, because you're going to be pressing on both of these buttons at the same time. Whereas the Razer Kishi has individual tactile feeling buttons, and you can feel the back and forth of each button clicking when you're going back and forth like that. Now, that being said, the Razer Kishi does have very clicky tactile A, B, X, and Y buttons, where these ones are a little bit softer, but they're still pretty clicky, and it's not my favorite design. The back L2 and R2, they are Hall trigger kind of triggers, which are very nice. The R1 and L1 are very quiet style triggers as well, whereas this has extra buttons for M1 and M2. It also has Hall style triggers, and yeah, these are a little bit clicky and tactile feeling, but this controller is honestly still my favorite out of the two of them. Now, for the actual controller itself, my biggest pet peeve about any of these controllers that I own, whether it be these two, this thing, or even my favorite controller, they all have flaws that these companies I don't think about when it comes to these controllers. The biggest flaw is the fact that I can't take my device and shove it right in there when it has a case on it. A lot of people have cases on their phones. Yes, I know there's some other devices out there that allow us to put our phones into the devices, like this is my S22 Ultra, and even it cannot fit in here with a case. You have to take it out of the case, and some people have otter boxes. You're not going to want to take your phone out of the case all the time and shove it in this thing. Which brings me to my next point, being the design of both of these controllers. We're going to get to the backbone here. The biggest flaw about this device is how they did this little curvature right here. Because that's only giving you space for smaller styles of phones. When it comes to this phone right here, I like my bigger phones. I gotta sit this somehow over here. As you can see, it's not gonna fit. I gotta slide this all the way out, and then I gotta try to line this up with that USB-C port, and then scratch up the crap out of my phone trying to line that up, and hopefully have that line in there. Now, this thing does not feel safe. As you can see, my phone's going back and forth, and I'm probably going to ruin my USB port after a while if that's in there like that. Again, I don't know why they went with this little design. Unlike the Razer Kishi V2, at least the Razer Kishi V2 has a straight edge all the way down, and I can shove my phone in there, feel like it's a little bit okay, and it looks nice. It looks okay in there like that. And it does have this rubber matting, so the phone's not moving around or anything. So they did a really good job at thinking about that. But still, I do not like that design of that USB-C. The big thing I like about the games here is the fact that they have this, I don't know if this is a patent design that they did, where you can bend the USB-C up and down so that when you put your phone in, you're not feeling like you're going to be breaking it, and it's able to be bent like that, and then you can just let it drop in just like so. Now, I don't like the fact that it's on this side. The charging kind of sucks. When your phone's in there, you don't get that super fast charge or anything like that. But when you're taking it out, at least it gives you that little play to bend that up and pull it out. That being said, back to the backbone. The design of this thing, again, I don't really like these joysticks. They're looking like they're using the Nintendo Switch style joysticks, just like the Razer Kishi does. But the plastic, it literally feels cheap. And this controller is $160 after taxes. Will I be keeping this? No, I'm sending this back because I don't think this is worth the $160 that they keep charging people. $60, maybe. Unfortunately, I don't know if anybody else wants to say anything about this. I would not recommend buying a backbone. My favorite little controller, I know it's a Bluetooth controller, so it's not really comparable to a USB Type-C controller, is this one. It's only $40. It basically has all the same functionality other than the Hall stick triggers. And it's got its own physical D-pad. It's got, you know, it's Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons, I guess. And it stretches out pretty far. I like Bluetooth style controllers for gaming. I know there's people that say, what about input lag? I've never experienced input lag with this. Maybe you need a better phone that doesn't have input lag for your Bluetooth, but most devices nowadays don't cause input lag. But maybe that's just my experience with these. Again, I don't recommend Backbone to anybody unless they up their design and change the way that they made this thing, because it looks like they tried to copy the Razer Kishi and do some little different look to it. So that being said, that's all I have to say about this thing. You can be the judge of your own testing and finds, but this is just my recommendation. Have a nice day. See you next time. Bye-bye!